1 second. Now maybe? Hello? Fucking hell. Yes, we're live.
Okay,
I switched to your screen as well.
cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Musical Chairs weekly-ish streams. Before we jump into things, as always, Coinmarketcap is a journaling tool that is sponsoring the stream. If you want to get all the features for free for Bybit, you can use the link in our description, and you'll get that. You can scroll on their website as well, to see what's included. If you already have a Bybit account, just DM the support, and then they can transfer your KYC. But yeah, normally it costs money. If you're gonna use our Bybit link, it will be completely for free. So with that being said, let's have some talk about the markets. We can start talking about BTC as always. Let me actually show you this. I want to talk about the moving averages for a bit, which is not something that I use, but kind of interesting here. How we are kind of under testing that basically for the first time since the start of the year. This is just something that I was looking at quite randomly today, but you can see, these kind of gray and white ones are the 100 and 200, I believe, EMAs or moving. I don't even know. Like I said, I don't use them all that much, but yeah, just one of the things that we are kind of under testing underneath them basically for the first time since the start of the year was kind of interesting to me. But other than that, I spoke about BTC a little bit on Twitter yesterday. What I generally want to kind of see is to hold what we are kind of bouncing from today. I was having some alerts a little lower, like 25.8 was the level where I wanted to see a reaction. You can see we kind of bouncing a little ahead of it today, which is a lot. I feel like correlated with SPX. I know we don't talk about it all that much here, but SPX also is at like a decent level of support. For those that trade legacy markets, I think there's a little bit of a bounce coming into the S&P, so most likely, you can see catching a little bit. I believe BTC doing kind of the same in the last 2 or 3 hours, but there's nothing major, to be fair. It's still kind of, we had the sell off yesterday overnight. From like price action point of view, there is, these levels are kind of tested here as well. So I personally, like I said, I would really love to see a little deeper pullback. 25.8 would be kind of my area. You can see that we have this kind of a false break underneath these lows. We reclaimed above it. So anything inside here would be a possible long for me. But also there is this kind of a double bottom underneath the price, so it's kind of a tricky place for BTC to be in. Like open interest wise, general order flow wise, this has been very muted. In general, there were just like a small parts. You can see, for example, last week we had one on Monday, basically a week ago. So this is where we were streaming. This kind of a move to the upside, basically supported by a large increase of the open interest, is generally the areas where you want to be trading in the first place. Because there's like a aggressive buying or selling coming in, and you can kind of pick up on something rather than, most of the sideways kind of a very flat right here. What I also tend to look at on Velo, there is not really all that much going on. There has been this kind of grind in the open interest today. We are up, not much, but a little bit. CVDs are flat. It's pretty flat on a spot book, not on Aptos, but on BTC. If we're gonna take a look, yeah, we felt a little bit of a spot buying here overnight. I think I've mentioned this, but it's around 125 BTC. rallying from that. The spot order book, is definitely not as kind of filled as it was back in like start of September, basically before we had this kind of last push to the upside. But the dominance on the bid side is increasing a little bit, which is kind of which tends to be a signal that there can be a little move to the upside, but it's still very muted compared to basically the areas where we had like a huge rallies from. So for me, I know that this is kind of a boring overview, but I haven't really taken many trades on BTC personally. I've been focusing more on altcoins and all these type of things, because there is just generally not that much on BTC just for me to talk about and they trade basically. So someone asking about the possible reclaim of 26.7, which is around this area. Yeah, these would be these highs. Yeah, from price action perspective, I mean, that would be pretty good, right? Like, this is that kind of a breakdown area on a daily time frame. Yesterday when we basically broke down from if we would manage to kind of make a new highs here, you can then buy, retest within the structure, having this kind of more defined area of spot stop under these lows basically. But yeah, that's not happening kind of quite yet. So we'll see. I think this was also kind of it for BTC. If Runner is not sleeping already, yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching on second computer bootcamp as well, so the double dose.
double sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can switch a tiny bit for BTC. Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with you. I don't know why. Oh fuck, I don't want to clean this up. With BTC, obviously it's no secret I prefer shorting, but even I, as like a perma Bertard, not that I'm getting bullish, but I don't know, I'm double guessing my quote unquote edge, but I just don't feel like shorts are in control right now. And like, it's just like looking at BTC structure a little bit at why is this ugly move? I do believe we're at some higher time frame like support, or you know what I mean. Like for me, like if we stay above whatever everybody has the same level, either from this wick or whatever these lows, that we keep holding. So if I'm personally like looking to short both altcoins or Bitcoin, I think we can easily go to somewhere around 29k and structurally still be bearish. So if let's say my buy is still lower, I'm not just sure I want to be shorting here whatsoever. So BTC hasn't done much really. I do believe the correlation with TradFi is increasing a little bit. Obviously, I don't have data to back it up. It's just personal opinion. I just believe both moves up and down can affect us. We have Jerome speaking.
I was kind of hoping for BTC to at least trade at like 24k. Kind of squeeze a little more, like if you would like sell off towards like 24.3, 23k, and still on a kind of weekly point of view, basically we have this kind of a, you can call this basically a level of SR. We had this kind of but this is the USDC situation that happened. So you have this kind of nicely defined area of where we kind of took out these lows, pushed from there. If you would do something like this, it would be really good in my opinion. Trading under these lows, forming this kind of a quote unquote trap or whatever you want to call that. But yeah, this would be like very nice in my opinion, like higher time frame kind of buy signal. If you would push higher from here, it's all good, all fine. But this is, I would personally like, I don't really hold things for that long, but occasionally when I do, this is something that I would love to see for BTC on higher time frame.
I guess it's very similar to that price action we had in March, which was the USDC, Kraken, FUD, Binance. So that would be basically like a copy, like a fractal.
Yeah. And it's even like the FTX type of situation where you kind of, this obviously took quite a bit of time, which is not the best, but you trade under some sort of like big level of support where people think it's over, and then it's all of a sudden we are so big basically. So yeah. But and with these, I know this looks a little different on the perp side of things because there was this kind of overshoot on this week where there's like a huge puke in positioning, but on a spot side this is pretty clean when we could basically do something like this, and you would have this kind of a it's so over, we are so back moment on the chart.
But then contextually, I guess, even that's in the title, right? Maybe you can kind of move on. We're entering October, which a lot of times people like to call Uptober. So
other seasonalities on well, I never, to be fair, like I know there are people who are big into this, into seasonalities, all these type of things. I never really cared about it. Not sure if that's good or bad. Like I said, I don't have any data, but like a lot of people tend to be like, oh, gold is performing well in March for whatever reason, and so on and so forth. So I don't think it's here on Velo though. Let me actually take a look.
It's just like your stuff, like people believing in 4-year cycles, right? I guess that's exactly the same thing. It's in a lot of ways self-fulfilling prophecy, or however people say it. It's like if enough people believe it. I mean, even I want to be long before halving. Do I have a good enough reason apart from other people are gonna long? Probably no. Like great analysis, runner. Appreciate it. And Chainlink's pumping. Fucking.
Here you go. By the way, so we have a little more data behind it.
Oh wow.
So it's actually quite good looking.
Pump it.
To be fair, like last year, even though last year was pretty bad, it did 5%, which there were some bigger months, but still decent. Yeah, basically in last 9 years we had like 2 down months in October.
And very small, relatively speaking.
Yeah, so pretty good, to be fair.
Nice.
Also in 2021, where we had this whole rally, it was like the second biggest after it was the biggest month in 2021. When it came to returns in 2020, it was on it was not that great in 2020, but yeah, it's there is definitely, if you're gonna take a look at all the months, there might be a little pattern. I feel like for stuff like seasonalities, it's definitely little different when you look at BTC, which has been around for 9 years, and compare it to something like gold, which has I don't even know, like 50 years at least of data or even more. So or S&P, like you can go basically, you can take a look at SPX back in like 1930s or whatever. So 9 years when you are doing month by month, you don't have that much of a sample data, but like you said, like if people want to believe it, they might just buy because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally open to it, because imagine we do whatever percent straight into resistance. Because everybody on crypto Twitter will be like all season or seasonality, Uptober, holy shit, bears are fucked. And just to get ETF delays, and market absolutely rolls over. Well,
when is some next ETF data?
October 16th and 17th. It's Monday and Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. So it's actually coming up pretty fast when you think about it. It's in 3 weeks. I know it's like 11 years in crypto, but by the time you're finished trading your Chainlinks and whatnot, what we're gonna cover soon, we're basically back to ETF talks. And also, since we talk about correlations and macro LARPing, Q3 is coming to an end, so a bunch of these tech companies that basically you could have seen, everybody on Twitter seen that, like it's like, oh, S&P is only going up because of 7 companies and whatnot. It's all the stuff like Nvidia, right? Like the biggest tech stocks basically carrying everything. So these companies are gonna report, like if they beat again, like what could happen, if say we're correlated. So is there a possibility of Uptober? I think it's very likely. I'm not a macro expert, but I just tell me why these companies that are beating all these earnings by like 11,000%, like why they wouldn't beat this quarter just because iPhone 15 didn't sell that much. Come on, please, brother.
Yeah, most likely. These like the tech stocks and these things still I think look good, and the S&P and Nasdaq also having a little bit of a possible relief in my opinion. Around these kind of levels.
And can still be bearish, right? Even if they bounce few percent, it's still like your lower highs and whatnot. So Uptober definitely on the table from two biggest bulls on crypto Twitter. Now let's wanna move on to fundamental quality coins. Altcoins.
What's happening in the altcoin space? We've been you mentioned Chainlink.
Hell yeah.
The coin with the best community. We have that is the smart con or whatever it's called, right? It's a week from now basically.
Yeah, basically October 2nd and 3rd there's a conference for Chainlink Marines.
I think like one of the things like we've been talking about this trade, like the being a possible short. I will quickly show you this. I actually looked at this today. This is the day of the previous conference. It was from 5th to 7th, so we had this down candle definitely, but it was not a big deal. Also, like this is like fucking dead. This is like 500 days since May 2020 moving in the range. Like this is
accumulation.
This is like a pure desperation, more likely type of trade where we just want to find anything in something that's been at the same price for 2 years basically. So, but this is the last year, the 5th to 7th September, and I believe in 2021 it was in August. It was here basically. It was somewhere here, I believe. But it's like not a huge type of deal. It's not like one of those trades like when we were talking about the Stellar last week. When you have this kind of like announcement going to happen, and everyone's going to be very happy about it, and then it's obviously nothing, and things sells off like 30% because it's crypto, right? Like this is an event which everyone knows about for a couple of months. I don't think we know there is like some like key thing that should be announced or whatever.
No.
So yeah, it's definitely it's super strong. Like Link by itself is very strong at the moment. So I think it's the best performing coin from like a large coins at least. But yeah, I'm keeping it more like on like a conservative side with the event. Like I would love to get short on this, but I would still need to see kind of like a people blowing up and this showing actual weakness, because this is just like even from like a price action perspective, you just break out the level, you don't even test it, make a new high, test it there, making a new high, then you have all these kind of highs right here and here basically above like 8.5 to like $9. So I'm trying to be more patient with this one.
I'll switch for a sec to I think more like I don't want to say confluence, but more argument could be made on Chainlink BTC chart, which if we look at the 2-year range, it's been down only, sure, but basically how I would, this is not a financial advice. This is not like how I'm gonna trade it, but as of right now, 1 week away from the conference and showing the strength, I would be more like looking at basically expecting Chainlink to underperform BTC or ETH, whatever you want to use as your hedge in that pair. So basically the idea would be long BTC, short Link. Basically you're shorting this pair Link BTC. That makes more sense. I just cannot see Chainlink continue on this monster rally after the event. We had bunch of announcements. You can actually see it on the chart here on both USDT and BTC pair. And I'm gonna show it in Velo as well. But yeah, basically, what is it? It's literally a week. Like okay, I will not be so greedy from the bottom. Let's do from the bottom of the candle. So like Link outperformed BTC by almost 23%. while Bitcoin has done obviously nothing, just chopped around. So I just don't think Chainlink has the fundamentals to sustain that. That's my thesis right now. It might obviously change. Maybe we get tomorrow partnership with Apple, or I mean Chainlink partnering with everything, right? With your mom's credit card. Is it possible? Yes. So can be wrong. And then looking at Velo, why I'm so keen about it is I actually marked out this when they announced it. And just from the perspective of simpler order flow, forget the strength, forget where Bitcoin is at. Whenever I see something like this happen, and I think you covered this many times before as well, I have this vertical dotted line, and let's look at open interest. It's just like this blow off top, basically. It's still going, obviously, but it basically open interest in that week, it has almost doubled, and I'm just not sure. Not basically, we already doubled open interest in like 7 days. And let's say, of course, that's not applicable, but if we do another 2x, we're talking about like the highest amount of leverage in Chainlink history, which is like, or let's say to this resistance, whatever I like to draw. So let's see how it does. I just cannot see, and not just Chainlink, like any coin in current market conditions, right? Since we are still chopping, we're definitely not in a bull run. Calm the fuck down. It's no way it's happening. And Chainlink just historically has had this type of trades, like it's runs up crazy and then dumps crazy. And you even showed it in the USDT pair. So let's see. I'm personally waiting. If it's a trade, I would love it. If it's not a trade, I mean, we can wait for another day. But
definitely, like as close to the event possible would be the best thing. Because at the moment, it's still kind of the speculation, like people don't know what's going to happen, obviously. The event is still a week from now, usually with these things, like 3 or 4 days coming to the actual event is a bit better than just kind of, giving it a week or even more, basically. But yeah, like basically what you said, you can see the last stop. This is in my opinion, one of the cleanest order flow signals you can see. When you have the candle on a daily chart, which has 180% open interest increase.
I believe that was the CCIP announcement, which is the whole tokenization on chain.
Yeah, so if something screams at top, it's basically this thing right here.
But it's very similar to what I said, because you have a daily candle that, let's say 6%, and I know it's not comparable, but whenever basically your open interest move is like 5x of the price move, I'm not saying it's a short, I'm just saying to what extent is this sustainable? Because if we would look at lower time frames, which is not something you do, but I've learned this from you about inefficient moves, inefficient price action. Like a price action today is just not taking any lows, and then when it flushes, it just destroys same. See, like this today's run up is just.
It's basically when I kind of fade things like these, and this is like super obvious example. When you have like this much of buying, and all of a sudden you're gonna look at the top and like it's stopping, like you don't need to try to catch the absolute top. I feel like a lot of people try to do that. I like to be a little more patient, but like all you need to do is basically realize that at the moment we start to kind of like lose even simple levels of like support and resistance or whatever. Like all these people start to getting very, very sweaty in their positions, and obviously a lot of retail traders and a lot of like smaller positions buying still here at the top. So once you have such a huge amount of buying and market is just not following through immediately, you can definitely start betting on at least some sort of reversal. Obviously issue with these is that usually when you have move like this with basically anything like from this year, the retrace is never really kind of a up and down type of thing, but it just kind of slow bleeds for a longer period of time.
But also in link defense, so I'm not just a bear tart, like whatever you just showed, it was, what was it, June, when BTC was at like whatever 31k. That was the BlackRock candle, if I'm not mistaken. So since we kind of not agreed, but just acknowledged that BTC is more at the support right now than at the resistance, as opposed to at the 31k area. So just
Yeah.
contextually, I might not take the short because if BTC starts looking good and if BTC is pumping, I think I would be kind of silly to short blindly.
Yeah, I think BTC was like here somewhere. Yeah, this is like
It's literally
July.
at the top, right? Wasn't it the
Yeah,
XRP win? Yeah, that was the
yeah,
XRP win.
it was somewhere in here. But yeah, basically the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard with like I feel like what is kind of the hardest thing with altcoins, even though you have all these kind of order flow data and price action and whatever, it's like still it's heavily dependent on Bitcoin. If you don't have something which is like like the most obvious trade, like something where it's really like this kind of narrative or whatever you want to call that, where when it really makes sense to just not completely pay attention to BTC or kind of the rest of the market. But I feel like especially with Link, when with this event now, it's not that like a massive type of deal. It's not like the Sergey guy from Chainlink is running around on Twitter and saying that there'll be a huge announcement a week from now on the conference, and everyone is kind of like waiting for it, or they kind of overpromised or promised some sort of launch or whatever, basically, which was like the situation with the ship or the Stellar, where you had this kind of a very vocal approach from the team, while this is just like this is a thing that happens every year basically for the last 3 years. So
And
see you there.
not that we're gonna get into tokenomics and fundamentals, because I believe we both believe that there's absolutely zero fundamentals in these tokens. Maybe you see differently, but just from like perspective, I think Chainlink simply from like mechanism perspective kind of misses the fundamentals. Like for example, MakerDAO is a very favorite coin of this year, which is doing a lot of the RWA stuff, like reinvesting and basically giving some money back to the people who put money into the pool. So like or like Luna Classic burns, like when you want to bullshit your community, at least you can sell them some sort of yield or whatnot. Essentially Chainlink isn't really that all that useful. So like it's the classic does it need a token type of situation, or is it more of like infrastructure thing? So and yeah, I don't know, maybe we can kind of move on to think something that was listed today, and we might wake up early in the morning for that.
Yeah, you can switch to your screen,
sure.
I guess.
Yes sir. So there is this coin which is a future of finance. It's called Moonbeam. It was a parachain, Polkadot parachain, almost many years ago, and now today it's pumping a lot. Why? Because it was early in the morning. For if you're European, it was listed on Upbit, on Korean, our favorite Korean exchange, in Bitcoin pairs. So price rallied hard. We'll talk about order flow. I just want to show you this. So current market cap just around 200 mil. Volume is up 40x in a day, which is usually screaming a lot of health. And now I'm gonna show you, get ready for this. So I was ready for this moment entire stream. So this is the chart. Let me put on weekly, and now I'm gonna reset the chart. So yeah, I mean, this is clearly very fundamentally sound project. No, but shitposting aside, this thing is absolutely dead and wrecked. And honestly, I ask a very honest question, like why in the hell is this getting a new listing on any exchange whatsoever? But basically, to be a bit more serious, the flow of today's events was pretty easy. We get Upbit listing early in the morning. This thing starts pumping because it has perps on Bybit.
So, is it interesting then on the second announcement of one of the most likely insolvent exchanges listing it tomorrow, basically it didn't pump all that much?
Yeah, and then sorry, I didn't finish. The last thing, this second move up is basically Binance announcing. So let me give a quick recap. So it's traded on some exchanges as a spot. It gets listed on Korean on Upbit, and here it gets listed on Binance announces futures listing basically a few hours later. It was a coin that at that time done $70 million aggregated daily volume across all venues,
Yeah.
including these exchanges that nobody ever heard of, but somehow do a lot of volume. A lot of question marks for me personally, but
It's weird, like if you remember the Radiant trade that we were kind of talking about, and we were
switching
trading
course.
like that, it pumped. I don't have it. Yeah, you can switch to mine. Like the Radiant was one of the things we spoke about. It kind of failed to do. It kind of sold off, basically not doing much. Being around the same price, kind of lower than it was before. But there was this huge or decently sized pump in Radiant. This is at least shit. This doesn't work like this.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
also a bit listing, no? Or bit hump.
yeah, no, this was listed on BitHump, and the volume and open interest wise it was very similar to the whatever the coin's name is, the moon thing. But yeah, like the fact that it didn't pump at all after the Binance perp listing. It's kind of weird. It's definitely this kind of underwhelming pump. For me, definitely when the open interest charts is looking like this, this is like the daily OI, which was like close to zero, and it does this in one day. It's definitely a fade scenario. But yeah, it's with these things I feel like you have to be like super careful, because this shit can just do like 2x from here and within like few hours basically, and then die. So I'm still being a little careful. I would personally love to see one more kind of leg up towards this kind of 30 cent area, and this is where I would start to short. But yeah, it's not one of those things where I would just kind of sleep well being short at the moment.
Yep.
Like if Bitcoin is going to pump and whatever is going to happen, I would much rather to kind of take this as an intraday trade, or as kind of close to some like a big higher time frame level, where I would say like, okay, like this is very likely the top, and not just fading it because it pumped one day.
Yeah, and it's, sorry, to maybe just give full picture, it's getting listed on Binance Perps at 1:30 UTC, so it's actually just like 7 or 8 hours away, or maybe less.
Yeah.
My maths is not adding up, so that's why we discuss it, because if we have a stream next week, we'll probably can get back to this, because my bet is I'm gonna move to my chart. It's obviously, as Adam said, no clue where it tops, but it just, or let's
it's very likely going to be lower
than right now.
Than right now. But
Yes.
but it's it's hard with these things when, like, if you use the same thesis on like top 50 coins, there is like maximum like 20%, or maybe little less drawdown you can get, but this can go 100% higher still basically. So
what is good that it appears not to be DWF coin as of right now,
Yeah.
at least. Like
At the moment.
At the moment, that might change, but no, I think this is kind of already outside of their parameters. They usually pump something that's maximum 1/3 of market cap and open interest and whatnot. But yeah, I think I kind of wanted to mention it because it's something relatively new. Obviously, a lot of people on timeline mentioned it, but like, for example, yesterday I talked on my stream on Chainlink as well. Everybody talks about Chainlink. It's not like that exciting. I would like to ask you one thing about one news that hit earlier today, that Huobi rebranded from to HTX, and they immediately get hacked for $8 million.
Yeah, I saw that, and I love the kind of humble flex. It's like, yeah, but we got hacked, but it's like 2 weeks of fees. We have like $3 billion or how much in reserve, so it's all good. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I read the tweet.
Yeah, some news. Yeah, and CZ retweeted it and basically laughed at it, like all the market. What do you think about all the market makers talking shit? Did you see?
Yeah, it's getting little kind of cringe at this point. To be fair, I haven't really kept much of an eye on the DWF coins. I wasn't by buying the guy's fucking friend tech keys to get the latest pump and dump alpha. But yeah, like bunch of these are, I don't know, like they kind of look dead. I like TRB was one of them. It's kind of going sideways. I feel like the funding on this is back to the baseline. It's not that in that kind of negative 2% area. What else was there? The Blue Zell.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, they actually have like some sort of news tomorrow with a some game. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a game fight thing. But yeah, they have some like beta of some game coming tomorrow. Whatever. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade it or not. Maybe if it would just kind of pump higher.
Well, I'm very proud of you though. I'm proud of you that you know something, because when we started the show 8 months ago, you were basically saying that all these events are a meme and it's nothing burger, and now
it's definitely a meme. It's like it's a release of the game that no one is ever going to play anyway. But yeah, if it's going to pump a little higher, then maybe it's a sure. But I just don't like how these charts look at. I don't know.
Yeah. And they actually seem to have calmed down a bit. Maybe I'm just getting used to the fast-paced nature of the market.
I don't know what else was kind of a DWF Bitcoin.
Cyber.
Yeah, Cyber. But that was kind of quick to die, I feel like.
Yeah, there was like ultimate pump.
Yeah, it happened like this, and then we had this like a smaller rally. It's pretty much that. This was like this was like within the one day. I feel like it's like 24-hour type of situation. It started like Friday evening, and it was basically dead by Saturday evening. So,
which is maybe like, we don't really trade these, but one takeaway is it's interesting that some of these DWF coins, they don't have like the same patterns for all of them, which might be misleading to people in a way. Like they expect the same pattern of XYZ coin, like people expect cyber type price action, but they get more of a Blue Zell thing. And
I feel like the guy is in general just kind of freestyling it and just kind of throwing shit and waiting for whatever is going to stick with these coins. Like he mentioned a bunch of coins, and some just pumped super hard, some didn't. So
maybe they're just testing liquidity.
Yeah. Someone is asking about a coin called GFD, and I've been in crypto
I know what it is.
I have no idea what this is. It's on Binance though.
It just got the USDT pair. Yeah, right. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the only thing happening for this coin is that it got a new USDT pair. If I'm not mistaken, hopefully I'm not confusing it. But assuming from your chart, it looks exactly like that.
A bunch of people are buying it though, but on perps and a lot of spot selling. I don't know. Like if I have no idea what this is, I'm not really. The coin that I was looking at, which once again I have no idea what is this thing. This is like a super negative funding, one of the few coins at the moment. Like a few weeks ago we had all these kind of minus 2%. This is, I think, the last one with like under 1.5 at least. So yeah, but
maybe I can actually cover a real setup I've taken.
Sure.
Which was IMX. We actually discussed this together.
Yeah, I was just a little sick last week, so I didn't take it. But that was a nice trade. That was a nice trade.
God damn it. My coin alliance is always cocking me over. Only thing I really want to mention is I'll add open interest. If it's gonna work. Yeah, I mean, this was a very similar scenario. That's why I kind of wanted to talk about this thing. What is it named? Moonbeam, sorry. Alcoholic. Anonymous. But the same thing, this thing got listed, I believe, on one of the Korean exchanges. It had perpetuals on several major exchanges. You have the classic pump ski into high negative funding, and then just, this is like, if I ever have to make a video about open interest slow bleed, this is like, I don't know if you, Adam, see my chart, but what in the fuck am I looking at? So look at this. This is like, left part looks like Burj Khalifa and second part looks like a ski slope.
Yeah.
And this is picture perfect, already out of the trade, but this was the very same setup. So you get Korean listing, you have massive volumes. And I used to trade these a lot, but I feel like last few months and weeks, Korean exchanges kind of lost it's sauce, if that makes sense. Like they were really prominent in early in the year with Aptos and Solana and whatnot. And you see 0 volumes, massive run up, like obviously all from the pump, and then oblivion.
Yeah, these are nice trades. Like one of the things that like these tend not to like fully retrace when it comes to like price action. You can see even like prices still it's down definitely. Like if you would short somewhere here, it's like 10%. But yeah, it's a nice trade. The thing that I mentioned and how I like to trade these is that I'm not really trying to sell. I don't know why why there's a search bar here showing gal, but let me just click on this and go back. Like I don't like to kind of try to catch the tops here and try to fade in anywhere there, but simple price action type of things. We had this kind of failure.
Yeah, this is actually your bootcamp type setup 101. Whoever is watching, this is
yeah, but like I said, like it's easy to get clipped on these things. Obviously, in hindsight, this is looking fairly clean on this being a top, but if you start to short it here, then you kind of in a little bit of trouble. These things slow bleed a lot. That's kind of disadvantage about these setups is like this candle takes like 5 minutes and then it takes like 3 weeks for this to retrace, which is like kind of a thing. But if you are down to that and you can just wait it out a bit, and then you're gonna get this type of like a underside retrace or whatever you want to call it, and you will get few percentage at least. And this is hourly chart. If you're gonna go on lower time frames, then
there's just great value in, I think, at least what I'm doing now is paying more attention to Koreans again. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, this was the one that I took actually. This was last week. This was before I took a break. But the same thing, like we had this. They had some sort of release. They released something, some news, whatever. And then on this kind of a retest of the level, I just held it towards the lows. You can see one of the good indicators of this actually being a strong for continuation is the fact that the open interest came all the way back to where it started. Price barely retraced like half of the move, maybe half it did, whatever. And it continues up. So when you see like open interest going all the way back to that kind of a point of origin and price just hanging around in the midpoint, it's good to know. You should be basically getting out at like first level when it makes sense.
You basically don't want to get greedy with these. It's like full retrace with like XRP news. One thing with Galaxy is that it's a DWF coin. If you don't know what DWF coins are, look, you can literally Google DWF Labs portfolio. They have a website where they have all their favorite Ponzi's, and they also have a link to Coinmarketcap portfolio. So like you don't have to be alone. You can Google it. I personally, when I see it's DWF, I close the chart. We took the short on Gal. We discussed it. I closed for like 1% profit because I got scared of Grachev delivering his beautiful beard.
But they did have some sort of like news coming in. Like this candle, I don't think it was just him tweeting about it. It was something about.
Oh yeah, they had V4 or V2 something.
Yeah. You can see how I'm fucking fundamental driven now. I know about all the news and everything what's going on. I just want to.
Yo, by the way, am I autistic or do you see the left candle on 12th? Then this little spike on 14th, it looks exactly the same like 20th and 22nd. Man, it's literally copy paste. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Even the part on the right. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like similar things.
It's beautiful. We can look at Rune. Somebody's mentioning Rune.
It's super strong. Like I feel like a lot of people kind of stopped talking about it. It's been a big topic on Twitter.
Oh, that's a big sell-off though.
It's sold off quite a bit now, but this was, and we were kind of trading it as well at the end of the August. And it had this decent sell-off. It was like the most talked coin on Twitter for that week or so, but it kind of picked up the pace. Look at the open interest on this though. Like, Jesus, like it's
so was it on spot? I don't understand your colors a bit because I'm not colorblind, but
the black one here is this is the spot. This is the spot CBD, and the gray one is the perps. So yeah, you can see like, it's looking fairly well, and open interest is back from, basically it started around 10 million, went to 66, now it's at 20.
This looks strong to me. First
yeah,
comments.
but price is still 80% higher basically. So like you had a lot of perps coming in, coming out of the market, a lot of these leverage positions puking, while this being held by a spot. So definitely a good looking chart here. If you just don't zoom out. if you want to stay bullish, just don't zoom out and you'll be all good. But they have some things coming in the fall, so it's going to be worth to keep track on.
It was Cold Vault and the perp dex thingy, which should make Rune again deflationary for 3 days.
Yeah, we were talking about it. There's like the thing like September, October, the wallet or whatever is like not a big news, but then
one sec, I'll find my notes so we can actually provide some value to this stream.
But I feel like in November there should be something which has this kind of like pump.
So August was lending, September cold walls, October order books, that's massive, and November the perpetuals, which I believe have a potential. So I think we will be talking about Rune anyways, but if Rune is showing a lot of strength, I'm not gonna be fading until the release and actual calculation of the deflationary thingy. And obviously if Bitcoin is ripping, Rune has history of being BTC beta, but I believe like down the line, if it goes to like $4 or whatever, it could be a decent short, or 3.5 I believe was the level.
Yeah.
But would definitely not fade. That's
if we kind of hit simple kind of SR type of thing. This is where the bank came from. I would maybe even try to pick some longs, just solely based on how well this has been performing.
People requesting curve, which I think we could cover because we did kind of trade it. My first comment is DWF coin though. So
to be fair, like don't really keep track on the curve situation. I took one long back in here, back in start of August basically. This is where I was longing on that kind of like first huge sell-off. I held the trade for a bit, took few percentage from that, and then I completely stopped paying attention to curve. So I have like no idea what's been going on, but I know that but it's up a decent bit. It's a lot of perps buying though.
No, that's the thing. Like the curve, the founder or whatever his name was, cannot really get liquidated because everybody in the industry is giving him free money. So.
Yeah, I usually like when I trade these things, and this is just like my personal thing. I like to kind of avoid all the DeFi stuff, like the stuff that is like heavily traded on chain, because obviously you don't have. Like we are looking at open interest from perps on centralized exchanges. We are looking at like spot data from centralized exchanges. But if you trade something like this and there is just something happening on chain, like you completely can kind of miss that, and you have this kind of like a next layer of stuff you basically have to look at. So.
And I guess it's fair to say it's not our edge. Like we might sound confident and whatnot, but we understand that it's not something we really do. Like if somebody asks us about if we should mint this NFT, I'll be like, might as well ask me about haircuts or whatever. Like
I've read the article the other day about like 95% NFTs being worthless or something like that, and it was like posted in like Business Insider and Fader and all these kind of like.
Should we be buying?
Yeah, this is like the first thing that I felt like I should just buy something, and then I DM'd some of my friends who are like more into NFTs, and no one could tell me like one single project which should have actual value. But I was kind of thinking about buying something. I actually found some NFTs which I think should be like bouncing if this is the bottom.
Adam, I really want to sell everything I have in crypto because of what you just said.
Yeah. No, what I don't know. I haven't bought anything. I actually never like bought NFT, so yeah, maybe I'll just kind of stick to not doing that.
If anybody wants to gift Adam NFT, I'll be his
Yeah.
wingman.
I've been gifted some and I minted some in the past, but yeah, it's I generally, it's just like it's really just like coins without the order book basically. Like it's just same thing as trading altcoins, but you cannot just buy and sell them that easily with one click.
Altcoin with pictures.
Yeah. Anyway, we are nearing the hour, so if
Yeah, if
anyone
anybody
has
any questions.
some questions, some coins, maybe give us some trade ideas because so far this week
Please.
there's not much to do.
Well, I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning, so I can maybe trade this
Yeah.
future of parachains.
Good luck. I will be definitely not doing that, and I will just be sleeping.
I mean, you'll sleep 7 hours, 8 hours, feel better, and I will lose a bunch of money and be
Yeah.
cranky because didn't sleep. So, sounds like a good
Yeah.
good trade-off.
But yeah, seems like no one wants to know anything that's good and also a little sad. But yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, I think we're just gonna
Yup.
call it a day today. Hopefully there will be some things. Yeah, WorldCoin.
Yeah, everybody on CT is trading that shit.
Yeah, it's getting pumped by not
Oh,
only
wow.
CD, I believe, but it's also getting kind of pumped by the fact there is this new Chat GPT thing. When you can like post pictures into that, and there is like, feels like little beta to all the AI stuff since it's the same guy doing it. But yeah, it's pumping. I hate when things go up
Yeah,
and they go up like this.
and they
Like,
never take any lows, right? That
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
exactly like Chainlink.
Yeah, it's probably going to do something like this.
Blow
Like
off
this
top
and
and
then
Burj
this.
Khalifa,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So when I see things just like fucking grinding slowly to the upside, I just generally don't trade it. But it should be a good short, like we shouldn't kind of forget the fact. Let me just show this to you in a sec. If you're gonna take a look at on this on CoinGecko, like what is the fully diluted value, and this is basically not really destined to go much higher in my opinion. At least there is like 7% of this is unlocked basically, and this is how the
Yeah, but first
unlocked-
unlock in like 300 days.
uh
If you scroll up, it says a deadline.
yeah. That's true. That's true. I didn't know I didn't know that it's that far. There's one in 24. Yeah. Okay. Fair. I didn't know that.
But yeah, like that doesn't mean we're bullish on WorldCoin. I
Yeah.
personally don't like to be, since obviously, I think it's same for you. You are probably some of these mostly short, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I was
So-
actually shorting this. I can
How
show
dare
you.
you?
But it was a few weeks ago, or yeah, it was like start of September. I just shorted this push in the OI basically on this one day. We kind of traded above the highs and immediately started to fall off. I took the profit at the lows. Right here, basically I traded this kind of. This is like the classic thing that I would trade on the both days. Just the thing that all of a sudden does this. Increase the open interest by like 100% and immediately starts to show weakness. I closed the trade and then it was a few weeks. After that it's like the hottest coin right now.
It kind of reminds me of Aptos in some way. Like it's
Yeah.
fully locked, it's completely VC garbage coin, and half of CT, and the same people keep talking about it. So whenever I have that, I just like I've seen nobody talk about IMX or
Yeah.
Astar. Now a lot of people talk about Radiant, but like it's like I personally prefer setups that are not in everybody's face,
Yeah.
kind of. And I know Chainlink, I'm being contradicting myself. It just kind of reminds me of XRP and Shiba, but WorldCoin.
Yeah.
This does not
Like-
scream short at all. So
I wouldn't buy this, but I would wait for something like this, basically. Like that blow of E candle, this is up a lot, like open interest basically making, new highs higher than it was at the launch. yeah, just give me some sort of blow off. I'm pretty certain from like my experience of things, like we will trade under these lows, highs or lows or whatever lows, sooner or later. But the tricky thing with these things and the mistake a lot of people make is they just kind of position themselves too early, basically. So
Yeah,
wait for
but
this like huge impulse, and then start to build short. You have a very nice target for it.
I don't want to open up a bit, but basically, and we're gonna, I think, end it with here. But take a look, make sure with some of these trendy altcoins, if it's traded a lot on Korean exchanges.
Yeah.
That was with Aptos. You don't want to be shorting that. You're not a hero shorting $200 million market cap that everybody on CT is longing. So
Yeah. Someone asked about where I keep up with fundamentals, which I feel like it's amazing questions because like I'm the least I know like a least amount of things on everyone. I'm just like the last person to get any information. But yeah, I'm like Twitter for the most part, to be fair. And then you have some of these websites. I like this one a lot. It's like the alternative for this coin market calendar or whatever. The called coindar.com.
oh wow,
And
Alien Worlds
you
is doing quiz.
yeah, and you can kind of yeah. First thing you should do is like put coins with at least 100 million of market cap, and you have all these kind of news. It's nicely made website. You see also like everything gets listed here. I believe like everything we traded at least was kind of listed here at some point. If you're gonna also click on the coin, you will see all their there should be like a little chart here, which is not here. Yeah, you can see all the past events. You can see a bunch of things. This is a nice website I like to use for this, but in general, just Twitter. Basically.
I mean, it's usually very few coins trending at the time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the attention shifts very quickly, so it's really not hard.
And like once you really just like, because I really like to be in this like top 100 type of place, or like coins with at least 50 million open interest, at least 100 million daily traded volume. So I'm not like trading some shit on like MEXC or KuCoin basically.
Great,
So once
you nuked our partnerships. Goddamn.
yeah. So once you kind of filter out all the shit, then you will realize that you are not left with all that much basically. So it's not all that much to kind of keep track of in the end.
All right. I guess
Cool.
thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll probably see you next Monday if there's something to talk about.
Cool.
I think
Okay.
maybe the Chainlink would be more.
Yeah,
and-
Chainlink it's starting on the next Monday, so
Yup.
it will kind of last. I think for at least 3 days.
2 days.
2-3 days.
October
2 days.
and also Radiant takes
Yeah.
place. Yeah, I think next week could be interesting.
Yeah. Wonder if the Radiant trade is kind of dead at this point after the listing. But yeah, this is the Chainlink thing. It lasts for 2 days, so it will be Monday, Tuesday.
Wanna go there?
If you don't,
It's in Barcelona.
dude, it's in Barcelona. Yeah, that would be nice, but I don't think I would even end up going there. It's just like a nice place to be. Yeah, if you kind of want to nerd on this too hard, you can look at all the speakers and all the schedules, and you might find, because I believe there are like more coins, more kind of representative from more coins, not only Chainlink type of things. So, but I might be wrong about that.
Google, so that must be a Google
Yeah.
partnership, and we're going for
Yeah.
$11.
The one thing that we haven't talked about, which I feel like it can be cool, is there is a the Meta Facebook conference in these next 2 days. There might be some like, I will keep an eye on like AI coins and shit, because like they can announce something when it comes to this. Cool.
All right.
So I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching.
Have a
Bye.
good